swoosh is continuing, especially on Palantir stock. Look at that swoosh, man. That is nice. Except the problem is we're now sitting on the edge of euphoria and gloria. It's actually kind of crazy. I mean, we've got the Nike swoosh recovery that's been absolutely dominating on the Nike swoosh. Right, I mean, you can see it right here. These blue lines, the big thick blue ones, have been here for a while. We're at that little euphoric little end tip right here, and it's like, how euphoric can we go, baby? And the hope is all the way. Now, what I'm really excited about is Palantir earnings, because Palantir earnings are out in just a moment here. You've got Palantir earnings setting up for, I would say, let me put it this way, they don't always beat, especially, I mean, they usually beat on their adjusted EPS, and one of the reasons they usually beat like 7 out of 8 times on adjusted EPS is frankly because they add back in stock comp. Stock comp is a big portion of their expense base, which makes sense because like people want to work at Palantir so they can get their hands on the stock comp. Like I get it. It totally makes sense. They add that back in so they can bump their adjusted EPS. That's why they tend to beat a little more often on adjusted EPS, but know what we're going into here. We're going into higher volatility than typical, so which is a little odd for Palantir. You've got now actually downgraded a little bit. We were over 9% expected volatility. You've got 8.9% volatility, and I've got adjusted EPS for Palantir expected to come in at 16.8 cents. I've got beat here 8 out of 8 times, so I'm kind of excited. Actually, yeah, on adjusted EPS, beat 8 out of 8 times is actually pretty good. So let's see what we get here. This is going to be really, really fun. We're looking for an 8.9% movement. Let's take a look at what we have for that. Market closes in 2 minutes, and then we'll be getting into Palantir, which we know has just been straight up. I mean, it's been a total rocket ship. Keep in mind, Palantir is like one of the first big data plays that really sort of, in my opinion, became known as true or real AI. I mean, back in 2023, in March of 2023, on this channel numerous times, we talked about how Tesla and Palantir are really your real AI plays, right? These are the plays that they didn't adapt AI later. We had Vision AI at Tesla, and then of course we had Big Data AI at Palantir. So it's been really a fun journey to watch. The problem is it's led to some pretty excited valuations, right? The PEG ratio on Tesla is over 6. The PEG ratio on Palantir right now is over 8. Which is wild. I'm gonna pull up the exact that I have right now. And then mind you, we have the bell here in about 1 minute. We'll be closing. We've got on the Palantir side 8.57 PEG after that run. We're looking at adjusted EPS. I'm gonna slap some of these in here so we have some numbers. Earnings will be about 5 minutes after the bell. So that'll be in about 6 minutes. If you're watching on the replay, you can fast forward about 6 minutes to get to the actual earnings. But here's the setup. So we're looking for adjusted EPS. Let me fix this here. Looks like there was a little oopsie doopsie with some of this data this morning. I'm gonna fix that really quick. 16, we've got adjusted EPS expected to be 16.8. They've got to beat 8 out of 8 times. I've got GAAP EPS looking for 10.9 cents. And they also beat 8 out of 8 times over there. I've got revenue expectations. This is gonna be big, 1.09 billion is the expectation. They also beat 8 out of 8 times. And the net income expectations here, we're looking for 443.72 of net income, also beats 8 out of 8 times. There is now the closing bell. Looks like Palantir is gonna be closing up 3.45. Pretty impressive. Bitcoin down to 106.6. I frankly think that's because people are moving and rotating into tech. Like that's where the money is right now, right? So Bitcoin's been trading sideways. You had Michael Saylor just disclosed they bought $43 million of Bitcoin at an average of like $114,000 per Bitcoin. And so of course, immediately Peter Schiff comes out and rags on him and says, hey man, you need to like buy a whole lot more Bitcoin to support the price of Bitcoin. Kind of classic troll from Peter Schiff. This is normal. This is like the age-old debate. Peter Schiff sells gold. he pushes gold. Michael Saylor pushes Bitcoin, so he promotes Bitcoin. But anyway, here it is. Strategy acquired 397 Bitcoin for 45 million. And of course, you got Little Retard writes, have you ever tried buying it at a lower price? And then, you know, you've got a whole bunch of other quibs over here, including the Peter Schiff quibs. But anyway, what we all want to watch for now are those Palantir numbers. Those will be out in about 4 minutes now. Great day as well on NVIDIA. It didn't hold on to its gains throughout the day. You can see we really bled a little bit, but still up 2%. It was up as high as 4.2% at one point. Really impressive moves on NVIDIA, and also impressive moves on Tesla. It had most of its trader rally at the beginning of the day. People really anticipate that we're going to get a massive beat here by Tesla because people expect the vote to pass. And when that vote passes, it'll almost trade as if they beat earnings. And people go nuts for this. I'm pretty excited to see what people have to say, or you know, when that vote passes. Pretty excited about it. But that could also be a near-term top because then you kind of see traders start leaking out of it, right? Not unusual. Anyway, waiting now for the Palantir data set. We'll be going through the earnings together. We are, again, waiting about 3 more minutes to go before we actually get the data release from Palantir. A lot of people are going to be looking for this, obviously, today. You've actually got a lot of, it looks like some buying activity going on just here in the minutes before earnings. You got another 50 basis points of an increase on Palantir before earnings. Actually, a little bit of a pump there on Bitcoin as well. And just look at that. Some buying in just the moments before, like who leaked the earnings, you know? Q's moving up a little bit, NVIDIA's moving up a little bit. Now, a lot of people are also going to be looking at Palantir to see, hey, are we going to be able to get more revenue here? Like, what's the revenue growth story look like? A lot of people have this mindset that big corporations are really running out of investor enthusiasm to promote AI. I don't think so. I think we're really just getting started with AI adoption at these big companies. And that's not to say that all these valuations are entirely justified. I'm trying to see if I can get CNBC on, but I actually having problems with it. You know, it's not to say these valuations are entirely justified right now. I don't think they are. We're pricing in a lot of enthusiasm, right? So what's going on here? Oh, okay. Well, that would help. Turn that on. Oh, Kevin! Turn that on. 2 things are off over there. But anyway, there's a lot of enthusiasm for, hey, how many of these companies are going to go to a company like Palantir and say, look, we have all this data. Can you help us with your ontology, organize all this data we have, which so much of it is just in spreadsheets, it's unorganized, it's a disaster. And can you help us organize and label our data? And then can you actually turn it into something useful? Can you actually turn it into something where, you know, we can gain industry insights from this so we can make more money? And then when they do, they'll just fire a bunch of people. Now the problem is, Lauren was so nice and brought me all this chicken and peas over here. But I forgot Palantir earnings are coming out. So I haven't finished it yet. And it sucks. So anyway, whatever. So anyway, we are now about 50 seconds away from the Palantir earnings. I'll just eat my chicken when it's cold. I'm really excited. I'm going to read this off as it comes through. It's going to be really fun. And then we'll actually go to the investor relations page and we'll get the investor relations data as well. Keep in mind, this is also going to be a bit of a signal for just the software industry in general. Other software stocks are going to trade in part based on what's going on with Palantir's earnings. So get ready, buckle up. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. We'll see it. So this will be out any second now. Here we go. And adjusted EPS beats at 21 cents versus 17 cents. It's a beat. Revenue beats. We have a beat on the forecast as well. Palantir boosts the outlook. Holy smokes, the stock's up 6%. Let's go. We've got adjusted Q4 revenue beats at 1.33 billion versus the 1.19 billion. I've got Q3 adjusted EBITDA beats by almost $100 million. Holy smokes. 600 mil versus 500. That's a beat of 20% on adjusted EBITDA. That's really good. Q3 top line revenue beats by a factor of 8.2%. Then we've got Forecast revenue is expected to be 4.4 billion. That is really nice and up from the 4.15 billion. That's a 6% raise for the fiscal year outlook. Commercial revenue over $1.4 billion, really impressive. Mind you, in the I think it was the second quarter, was our first quarter over $1 billion of revenue. We thought we were gonna go from $1 billion to $1 billion in 09. We went to $1 billion.18. Really impressive right here. Then you've got, so really nice beat. That quarterly growth is continuing. Good for Palantir, good for the entire AI industry and just software as a whole over here. Let's get into the actual earnings read here. This should be pretty juicy. So let's get the earnings release. Palantir. All right, and then let's go ahead and stack up the chart right next to it at the same time. See if we can do this together. Yeah, there we go. All right, this was a phenomenal quarter. Now, keep in mind, Karp is a really good salesperson. In fairness, he's selling a good product. So, like, he's a great salesperson. He is selling a good product. But understand, like, their quotes, usually I don't even like looking at their quotes, but some of this is useful. Year over year growth in commercial revenue, they basically doubled their commercial revenue. That's massive. This is what people were looking for. People are looking for, are companies adopting AI? And the answer is yes. Palantir is the company that can help you actually clean up your freaking data, take your stupid spreadsheets, throw it into the Palantir ontology system, and guess what? Actually help you make money with it. Now, unfortunately, in the future, that's probably going to turn into firing because I think some of they'll plug all the data into Palantir, and Palantir will just spit out, okay, here's how you can be this much more efficient with this many fewer people. Remember, that's the sales pitch of Palantir, is you're not actually spending money when you buy the product. You're spending money by investing it into saving money. You spend $1 million on Palantir, the goal is to save you $10 million, right? That's why there's been so much enthusiasm for the stock. The growth is insane. Now, in fairness, even though the growth is insane for the stock, I mean, we're looking at let me see what the EPS growth right now for this company is. Let's see here. We're going to pull it. Okay, Palantir. So EPS growth. This is going to be the average growth over the next 4 years. That's important because when you go factor in, hey, what do I value this company at? We want to see what the growth is over the next 4 years. Next 4 year, and this is Wall Street consensus, is 37.1%. Okay, well, we're now expecting to grow from Q3 at 118. We are expecting in Q4 to be at 1.33, so divided by 118. We're expecting to grow 12% in the quarter, 12.7% in the quarter. So if I take 12.7% in the quarter, I multiply it by 4 to get an annualized rate of growth. These earnings imply 50% growth on revenue, right? Which is really impressive. And Wall Street is forecasting 37% growth on their bottom line earnings. It could mean that people are underestimating the growth rate for this company. At 37.1 times, percentage growth on an annual basis for earnings per share over the next 4 years, the PEG ratio for the company is 857. However, if I go in, and that's at closing price, if I go in and I now change this to 50%, I'll do that really quick. I'll go to Palantir and I change it to, I'll go 45%. Let's see what 45% looks like and what the PEG ratio adapts to at that point. So on 45, our PEG is still 7. So kind of tough, right? But I mean, the earnings, they're very good. I mean, you're growing EPS at 50% annualized, taking Q3 to Q4 growth. Oh, sorry, that's not EPS. That's going to be earnings, right? Or revenues, rather. And I actually think they could probably be more efficient through their OpEx. We'll look at that in just a moment. But they have such a reputation that they could probably be even more efficient with their OpEx and grow EPS maybe even faster. But even if you take 50% compounded growth of EPS for the next 4, you're still at a 7 PEG on the play. So pretty expensive. Then let's see here. Commercial revenue, we saw that double. That was really good. Let's keep looking what we have here. Year-over-year growth climbed. We are guiding the highest sequential quarterly revenue growth in the company's history. Right. Yep. Representing 50% year-over-year growth. Oh, that's the math that I just did. They already did it for me. I guess I could have just kept reading. All right. U.S. revenue grew 68% year-over-year, 17% over the quarter. It's very impressive. Let's actually look at some of the numbers here. So if I could get, I don't think I'm going to get, here we go. This is what I want to see. So we know their balance sheet is fortress, but look at this sales growth. So sales growth year over year, what are we looking at here? Sales growth of sales and marketing grew. This is 243 divided by 196, a little bit of rounding there, at about 24%. But who cares? You know, commercial revenue is up 121% year over year, which is phenomenal. It's over a double, right? So they're spending 24% more on marketing, but they doubled their year over year commercial revenue, which is great. Then we've got research and development. That's up maybe, what, 25%, who cares? G&A is up a little bit, OpEx. Their margins might actually be better here. Let's see, income divided by revenue. I've got 269 divided by 1003. I've got a 28.6%, or sorry, 26.8% operating margin. Last year we had an operating margin of 105 divided by 678. 22%. Wow, that's a 4.8 percentage point increase in operating margin. That's 480 basis points of more operating margin. That's what I'm saying, is like, I believe that. I believe they can grow EPS faster than revenue because they have such strong operating leverage. This is when you're selling a good product, you could actually spend less on advertising relative to your earnings growth, right? So we can grow revenues in this case, 1003 divided by, 678. I can grow revenues at 47%, 50% annualized, quarter over quarter. I could grow the revenues at those rates, but my sales and marketing is only up 23%, which is like half as much. So this is really good. EPS basically doubled here. Fantastic growth in EPS. So good for them. I don't even need to look at their balance sheet because I know it's good, but I guess I'll take a quick look. I've got current liabilities, less deferreds of 700 mil in current liabilities. Yeah, and I've got cash of $6 billion, bro. Like, who cares? Like, this is just a quick glance. At glance, 700 mil in liabilities outside deferred, current, right? And roughly $6 billion in current assets. That's not including accounts receivable, which is wild because I've got more accounts receivables here. They've got cash for days, bro. Cash for freaking days. I've got net cash, almost $1 billion in 6 months. Operating cash flow, absolutely insane. They're rebuying some of their stocks, although some of that is really just to offset the stock-based comp. This is phenomenal. Like, there's nothing to be mad about here. This is really impressive. Really good earnings report. Revenue guidance, we saw this. Commercial revenue continuing to grow at 85%. That's awesome. Q4 forecast we went through. I like going through the other statements. Closed 157 deals of at least $1 million. Wow, 66 deals at $5 million. This is how they bank money. The big companies, I feel like, are lining up to get in here. That's pretty impressive. Sunny says here. I'm looking at the old that's the old revenue set. Holy smokes. Yeah, the new one's only listing the webcast. I've done that before with Palantir. There we go. I just get too excited and I haven't gotten the actual earnings release yet for Q2. So now we're gonna get to see Q2 versus Q3. Well, see, I can't click on anything yet here. I just have a stupid webcast link. Come on, folks. Quarterly results. Give me the, there we go. Okay, fine. Well, this is great. So now I'm gonna be able to compare to this. This is the presentation, damn it. Where's the actual earnings release? Why don't they update the stupid website on time? Like, there's such a fantastic number set. So quick clarification, that was Q2, which those numbers are awesome, right? Now we have that basis of Q2. Let's now compare to Q3. But I freaking can't because they don't release the damn thing on time. I don't know. I don't want to go. I think this is what they want. They want you to look at all these stupid charts. I don't care. Give me the damn statements. Piss me off when you do this. Like I hate pitch decks and slide decks and all this kind of crap. But whatever, it is what it is. So let's now, now I'm getting blown up with messages. Okay, come on, man. Where is my press release? Total RPO. They don't give it to us. Give me a freaking statement, you darn losers. All right, let me see if I could get an SEC filing. Current report, here we go. Please just attach the financials. Yes. Okay, there we go. All right, perfect. We got it. We got the 8K. See, they hide this because they want you to go through their stupid slide deck. Look, I love the numbers of the company, but dude, I don't want to see your slide deck. This is what turns me on. Yeah, baby. Nothing like a good balance sheet to get Kevin excited, huh?
Kevin's somebody we'd consider. Kevin is fantastic.
Kevin is much more interested than most people, by the way, in the balance sheet.
All right, so we just saw Q2, which was awesome. And I got duped on it, which is fine, because we already read out the good numbers. But now, look at this. Let's see what the operating leverage is now. You ready for this? So this should be really fun. So this will be the comparison. This was Q2. And now let's compare Q3. You ready for this? This will be great. So we've got revenues. I've got, let's see here, sales and marketing. Sales and marketing here, quarter over quarter, looks like a little bit more growth over here. 274 divided by 209. That gives me about 31% growth. Still though, that's positive. A bit of an acceleration from Q2 year over year, but 31% still suggests large pricing power and positive operating leverage. That's very good, so I'm happy about that. Now, if I go to research and dev and R&D is next. R&D, this seems to be in line with what we had before, 23%, 161 divided by 138, 16%. Only 16% on G&A year over year. Great for the revenue growth, right? Because look at that, 1181 divided by 725. Dude, that's 62% year over year revenue growth and only 16% on G&A. You know what that is, right? That means they're scaling out G&A. Really, really impressive. So very, very, very good numbers here. Then let's see here. Scaling out the G&A, that's good. Then I have a net income of a 476, which is also phenomenal. I mean, look at that growth compared to last year. That's up 3x, bro. You know? I mean, we're still at pennies because they really just became profitable, right? But we're up over, 3.3x on EPS. 3.3x EPS year over year, which is also amazing. Let's go now see their balance sheet, because, me and the balance sheet. Oh, yeah. So here we go, consolidated balance sheet. Let's start with the current liabilities. I've got deferreds are going to be on this line. That's going to be 316. 316 less 1180 minus 316. I've got 864 mil current liabilities, and that's going to be versus. And what do I got over here? Cash and marketables alone. Oh my gosh, man. 1.6 plus 4.8. Bro, 6.4 billion in cash. Marketables with 1 bill in receivables. Dude, plus 1 billion receivables. It's like impossible to bankrupt this. I mean, famous last words, right? But those numbers are so freaking good. It makes sense why people go nuts over this stock. Let's look at the cash flow. Let's see what they got over here. What's this 1.8 million over here? That's cash from investing activities. Repurchases of common stock. Didn't really do much over here in the way of financing. They don't need to. They just have cash, and they just hold it in cash. All right, so good for them. And the income statement we saw, that was good. I mean, there's really little not to like here. And then if I go over here, let me look at their intro. Year-over-year revenue up 77%. Commercial revenue, this is amazing, this commercial revenue side, which is fantastic. 204 deals from that were worth $1 million, which is, you know, I think they were at 160 in the last one. So that's phenomenal math, right? I mean, 204 deals over $1 million. That's really impressive. And then I've got 91 deals at $5 million. I think, this is my take, I think corporations, like US corporates, are lining up to have Palantir take their stupid spreadsheets, the stupid corporate spreadsheets, and inject it into Palantir's ontological ecosystem to actually deduce true insights from big data. Finally, AI has enabled people to be okay with giving Palantir their big data. And I'd guess there's a waiting list to get into Palantir, even if you're big, even if you're a big company. That'd be my guess, right? So that's why there's so much enthusiasm here. I mean, earnings, EPS year over year has been growing at a massive rate. So it's really, really impressive. And, you know, you got to give them credit here. Okay, so then let me see here. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. I mean, broadly, even if I take a 50%, which would be crazy, but even if I adjust them to a Kevin growth rate of 50%, because they just keep beating and beating and beating. Let's just do it for a moment. Let's take their growth rate. You know what? We'll go 52%. I'll go 52% just to see if they could actually pull that off. There's still a 6 peg, right? So unfortunately, even with 52% average growth, Kevin at 52% EPS growth next 4 years versus Wall Street at 37.1% growth, right? So that shows you a little bit of difference in the forward peg. Even at 52%, it's still a 6 peg. Which does suggest fair value for the stock is actually closer to 2.67 times. Oh, I got to get the earnings. Hold on. 2.67. I need the outlook on earnings here. I was just filming a house hack update video too. We're really excited. We've seen a lot of people diversifying and take profits from some stocks and dumping it into house hack, it seems. But just in the last 3 days, which includes the weekend, we raised almost $500,000, and that's on top of the $1.5 million from last month. It's just been amazing. Thank you all, by the way, for the enthusiasm and support there. Okay, let me grab Palantir earnings really quickly to get a fair value for the stock. And then keep in mind that, also quickly, read the solicitation at househack.com or reinvest.co. It's the same company. This video is not a solicitation. Okay, 65 cents of forward earnings times 2.67 times 52% growth. It still puts the fair value of the stock at $90. You know, that's offensive, right? How low that is. Offensively low, but suggests when the upward momentum slows, the down could be rapid. So there's just no slowing right now. That's why it keeps going. So it's really impressive. Now, I'm somewhat surprised. It seems like the stock's basically flat. It's possible people are if this goes red tomorrow, it means people are profit taking. That's it, right? If this goes red tomorrow, it means people are saying, you know what? It's been a good run. It can't get much better than this. We're taking money out and we're putting it into house hack, baby. Anyway, this was fun. I love doing earnings. If you like it, subscribe, leave me a comment, tell me to do some more earnings. And we'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions for house hack, email us at...
Email ir@househack.com.
yeah, there you go.
Kevin is very talented, but I don't know if it's going to be him, but he's a very talented guy.
All right, folks. I'm going to finish my chicken and peas here. And remember, if